Hello, everybody. Welcome to Adobe Live Education Edition. I am thrilled to be one of your hosts today, Wezi Thindwa, tuning in from New York City. And this is Building Creative Confidence with Guided Activities in Action. Those of you who have been in Adobe Express have seen the beauty and the wonders of our guided activities in product that have been supporting teaching and learning across the globe. And so I'm so excited to get to introduce our guest host today, Rebecca Hare. Rebecca Hare is Senior Manager with Content at Adobe, and Rebecca has a legacy as an educator, K-12 across disciplines, also as a visual designer and instructional designer, and just leveling all of us up along the way as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Rebecca. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at Adobe?
Absolutely. Thank you, Wezi. I love the idea that I have a legacy.
You do have a legacy.
That's what more could we ask for? Yes. So I started my career off as a designer and then worked in education for 10 years. I've taught every grade level and I've been with Adobe. I think this is we're starting my fourth year. And I am really excited to be on the content team. So our education content, we get to focus on creating things inside and across products that really have an impact on teaching and learning. So they have a student first philosophy in the way that we create things because our team is powered by educators and by folks who really understand what it's like to bring creativity to life for our students and the challenge of teaching with technology and just teaching in general. So it's really a privilege. We're on a small team of 4 people, and we get to work cross-functionally with a lot of other teams. But we have been creating content inside of Express for it will be like officially, I think when everything got published a year in August. So we're coming close on that. And we have a lot of new things that we get to share. So we just launched our guided activities officially last August. And now I think we're almost getting close to around 50 of them in the product right now.
Fantastic. That's just such an unbelievable amount of instructional support. And we really appreciate the holistic approach that you take and that you've named Rebecca in providing and designing these learning experiences in Express for teachers and students alike. And so, those of you that have tuned in, and if you're following along and you are a teacher or a student and you would like to create an experience along with us today, you are absolutely welcome to do that. And so, here are some tips. If you log into your Adobe Express for Education account, your screen will look like Rebecca's screen here. You'll be looking directly into the playground on the Adobe Express homepage. And you can also use the chat to interact with us. If you've got questions along the way, if you would like a little shout out, just let us know in the chat, and we'll try our best to be monitoring that as efficiently as we can. Also, you do have the option to watch this back. So if at any point you're creating along and you just think, oh no, I've missed something and I want to go back, again, you can use the chat. But if you do feel like you've missed something, just know that you can always watch this session and episode on demand. We have it available on our Adobe Live channel, and so you can access all of the episodes there for free at any time. Also, please share with us what you are thinking, what you are working on, and use the social media hashtag Adobe EDU Creative. We would love to get some visibility into what you're doing and interact with you and connect with you and hear from you. That is something that also helps us to be continually improving and being responsive to your experiences as educators using and students using Adobe Express. So, Rebecca, I would love for you to take us into Adobe Express. Once we log in, what is it that we can discover that is available for us and to be able to use in the classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me take you for a quick little tour. So once you log into Express, you're going to see this as the home screen. That is going to be changing in a few weeks. So we're really excited. The team has worked with educators and students to design a new home experience. So actually, if you're watching this in a few weeks, that's what you're going to see. That's launching really soon. So you can actually go into our Learn. We have a sneak tour of this here inside the product. I'll go ahead and I'm going to just mute this so it doesn't get too big. We're going to go push play, you can actually see, hear what the preview is and understand how the new home screen is going to work. And so we have an entire tour of Express for this. This is unique to the education experience. And so if I fast forward through this a little bit, our new home is actually going to, let's see if I got the one right. There we go. It's actually going to look like this. So we can get this right here. So we're going to have create, and for teachers, you're going to have teach, and then for an edit. So create and edit are going to be for teachers and students, and then teach is a unique tab. So you can see everything will be blocked out with these boxes. So generating an image or generating a QR code, you can actually just click on any one of these things and it's going to take you right into the right space in the product. So this makes creating just easier and more fun. So if you're watching this in a few weeks, this is what you'll be seeing. And what's exciting about this for us is that this allows us to be really responsive in what we create and how all users and young creators and educators can actually work in the product. I think it's going to make things so much more smooth. So we're excited to see how much people love that. In the meantime, you can find our content, of course, on the home screen. So I'm going to go back to the current home. You can see this has a lot of different things in it. We won't go through everything, but there's different ways to create presentation, drawing, infographic that'll take you right into the tool. We have our quick actions that are great ways to make quick edits. And then we have a whole line of our guided activities. And that's where we're really excited to kind of explore those. So we have, if you go to learn, you can see all of them at once. So I'm going to click on the learn. That's a little light bulb tab over here. And I'm going to go to our guided activities. So this is where all of the guided activities are that we've created. They're all put in here. We're working on getting them really nicely organized so everyone can find them. But this is a great place for you to jump in with your students. And we've designed this in such a way, basically because of our experience, because I've taught 4 or 5 of the Adobe creative tools. There's more than 20. And it's challenging to get kids.
Absolutely.
It's challenging at all ages. It was challenging with my high school students. It was challenging with my middle school students. Forget about my 4th graders. But we designed this in such a way so that the teacher can really feel supported and instruction. Every person feels like they know what to do. So we'll go ahead and click on this one. This is Illustrated Creative Self-Portrait. This uses our generative AI technology from Firefly. And so you can see this is the interface. This is what's set up. So if you want to follow along with us, this is a great one to get started on.
I love this one, and I'm so glad that this is what we can showcase today, Rebecca. And you had mentioned just the challenge with teachers just, kind of knowing what to do. And as a former teacher, I know just the sense of feeling overwhelmed. Like, I have to know everything about this before I can share this with my students. That is a very relatable sentiment, especially when you have multiple preps. And so in terms of just being an educator, and you're going in here and you're thinking, like, what can I start with? What is it about the guided activities that makes them a great go-to if you feel like you don't have all of the experience, or you might not know all of the features in Adobe Express, or you do, like, you have so many tools that you're teaching. And so why this one?
Yeah, so these have the instructions on the side. And so when you go in, it automatically opens this for you. So if you ever do, you're looking for some support, the little light bulb over here, I can magnify this down. You can see it right here. It's our little learn icon that opens up the learn panel inside of the editor. So it allows your learners to have that support directly inside of the editor. And, and it is, and technology can be daunting, and you're going to run into some hiccups with things. And this is why we love this, because you can really focus on the learners who maybe need a little bit more one-on-one support, and then everyone else you can say, hey, until I can get to you, or like you've asked a neighbor, there's a lot of support here for you to actually engage with. And so we find that this is the right level of support for most folks. And it also is like, these are just great sub plans. This is what we hear from people, because you can't always be there. And so it's it's a nice way for us to build that kind of scaffold for ourselves and for students before dropping them in and saying, just create whatever. So if you go over here to the Learn tab, you can see it takes up just this little part of my screen. This top part is a video, and this is a video instructions, and they're usually always under 2 minutes. What's great about this is, of course, course, you can mute them, but if you're in a busy class, like no one, like you, maybe you don't have headphones that day, you can actually turn on captions. For all of these, we've created captions in English and in Spanish. So if I click on English, the captions show up here. My favorite thing about this is that you can do the pop out. You can also go full screen. I don't like to do that because students always kind of get stuck, but some folks do that. I can pop this out and then I can make it whatever size I want. And I really love that. Then I can push play on the video and I can pause. And I've muted it so we don't hear it talking over me, but you can actually see the captions down below. And so we go through really quickly how to edit and what you're going to get. And a really simple interface. So we've simplified everything to give you just the essential. And of course, we actually have teachers writing these and working through these. Not only do we create all of our content with educators, not just with educators in mind, but literally with educators. And we also write all of our scripts and make sure everything's produced and has that seal of approval, because we know that there are so many complications in a classroom and our teachers can tell us what that would be. So these are simple, they're fast. And so then the students can watch those, they can pause, they can go back. It's a good thing to teach kids to scrub. They're so good at watching videos. Sometimes they forget how to watch videos for learning. So it's like having them go back and scrub. And then if I want to, I can X out of it, go back into it again. And then we also have our instructions below. So if you want just written instructions, they're right here. So we always just do like 1, 2, 3 steps for our most simple activities. And if you hover over the image gets bigger, and it's another simplified way. So this gets you get started. We'll do this live and actually don't need the instructions, but that's what's really fun because you can give this to students as extension activities or have them just do it in class. So should we go in and dig into this one?
Absolutely. And I am so ready to dig in, and I also want to I see we've got a lot of Adobe Creative educators who have tuned in and they're in the chat. And so hello to folks tuning in from Virginia Beach. We see you, Krista Brooks, we see you, Michael Clear, Rachel, Robert Wennerberg. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we would love to know, because I know a lot of you have used the guided activities, which ones are your favorites? So we're going to get into this one. And Rebecca, I just love the details that you provided to be explicit with student instruction and how it can really support them as that scaffold as intended, and also providing room for differentiation for the teacher to say, certain students might need a little closer attention or they might need some additional support. And then there's also the option for independent work. And so admittedly, I don't often use a pop-out screen. So I'm so glad that so I'm glad that you highlighted that, because I usually go either full screen or, or we'll be scrubbing in the little bit. I love that you've showcased the pop out. So thank you all for tuning in and for engaging with us in the chat. And Rebecca, we've got some folks just kind of saying how much they love the guided activities. So thank you so much for the work that you've been doing for them in that. Erin Petrie from Kentucky, we see you. Thanks for West Virginia. Thank you for joining us. Okay.
I know all these people. This is the best part about this community.
This is fantastic.
All the names.
Yes.
What's exciting about this is we are working desperately with our internal teams to get these to be even more editable. My dream is that an educator can take this and be like, oh, this isn't exactly what I want. I want my own video. I want to change the instructions. I want this template. And so we are working with that team. I can't say when it's going to happen, but we're really working to have that happen, because the more that we can give control to educators, the better things get. So not only we create stuff with educators from the beginning, but we're really excited eventually to make these things, that anyone can create their own guided activities. So hopefully that'll be coming in the next year or so. But it's probably top secret. I'm not telling anybody about that, but that is something we're working on.
Love the little sneak peeks that we're getting today.
Yes. So we'll go ahead and jump into this one. This one's really fun. This is actually, this is fun because it uses a few advanced techniques despite the fact that this is really simple. So first of all, we can click on our image, and every time you click on an image, another panel shows up. So if you're new to this creation experience, what's nice is that it limits the amount of variables. So if I click on you'll see now here my image panel is opened up on the left. If I click on text instead, click on my text button, sorry, I'll see the text will show up. And so I can actually change the font. I can change different pieces. So what I click on is what it was going to change. Looks like this piece is an image. So here I'm going to click on the image. Now I can go in and change this image. So I'm going to click here to generate image. And it says portrait of a girl with dark skin, curly hair, green eyes, and in a cartoon style. So this is a great place for your students to test things out and really work on their language, and really be specific. This is generative AI. So all it's doing is it's sorting through images that have been tagged with these things. So it's best to use descriptive terms. We found this out, AI will make you always about 20 years old. If you don't give it an age. So we're forever young in AI. It will also, if you say like short hair, short compared to what? Above
Mhm.
your ear, below your ear. So the more specific you are with your language, and
Mm.
this helps students because we'll give them that feedback weeks after in a writing assignment, like more specific language, more detail. This gives you that feedback immediately because you're not getting the image that you want. So who should we do this? Wesi, do you want to do this a portrait of you, or should we do a portrait of somebody else?
Oh, you know what? Anne Cosma is on the call, and so I would love a portrait of Anne Cosma. She's our Adobe Education Evangelist out in the West Coast. Hey, Anne, shout out to you. So I think we could describe Anne in there. So Anne, go ahead and give us some descriptions if you want some specific ones in the chat, and we can use them. Otherwise, we can just go ahead and describe you.
Absolutely, yes. Let's get that. And so if you want to read it out to me, I will type it live, which is so much fun. This is always I will misspell everything. So let's just see what really basic words I can misspell.
All right. So I always put woman because that tends to give me more like above 20
Hmm.
in
Yeah,
there.
and you can put
So
an age group. You can say like in her 30s or some, so that's a great thing to think about because and I've seen people be like old, it'll make you
it
110.
will make you old.
So
Even middle-aged, if you say middle-aged,
yeah.
kind of makes you a little
And so
old
you
too.
kind of have to find the right descriptor, because that's how other images that they're finding have been labeled. It's not really
Okay.
AI is not thinking, it just goes on how other things have been labeled. So portrait of a woman, what
That's
else?
really helpful to know. Okay, so Anne's given us some descriptors. She's got medium length brown hair.
So that's a great one. What is medium length? Is that shoulder? Is that above the shoulders? Is that below the chin?
And should we say shoulder length? I think shoulder length works. We've got shoulder length, and she said you can use Caucasian or white woman, and she said brown eyes as well, and happy open mouth smile. That is so
Brown
you, Anne, that
eyes.
happy open mouth smile.
Happy, open mouth. This is someone who's done this before. Smile. So that's really great point. Shoulder length hair. Because again, AI is not thinking. It's not like, oh yeah, medium length. It knows what that means. It's not a hairstylist. So it's actually going to go with reference to things. So shoulder length, chin length, all that specific language is helpful for you to get something closer to what you want. And so we're going to do this without any other descriptors and see what we get, because sometimes we get some different variations. We can go back and add more descriptors in. So I'm going
Love
to
that.
prepare to generate. I'm leaving everything else I'm leaving this as art because we said we want this to be a cartoon style. We don't want photorealistic. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click generate. What's really fun is you can actually add a style component. So if we want to do that, I've got some styles I've been playing with on my desktop that we can throw in. We could do like a felted, needle felted style. We could do clay. Okay, so this is great. We didn't put anything about skin tone in here.
We
So
didn't.
the AI is designed, it should be giving us a variety of them. So this is probably not accurate to Anne, and we've gotten a variety. So we're going to go back in. We can go back in, and I'm afraid I'm not going to spell Caucasian correctly, so I'm just going to write white. I get anxiety around spelling complicated words when I'm screaming.
Spelling, I always say spelling goes out the window when people
I
watching you.
just every time I was demoing in front of my students, I was like, I can't
Uh,
spell anything. Okay, so we're going to go back and generate again. So this is okay. So now we're getting something closer to what we like for Anne.
Yep.
And open mouth smile. If we don't like what we have, we can say generate more. And what's really fun is that we can also play around with, so this is giving us like just a basic cartoon style. Let's go a little bit above and beyond. This is really fun. So, oh, I love this. They're all like, they feel like they're like they should be like in a Disney show or something. Don't they look like princesses?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Let's add a fun style on. So we have some style references. You can actually find these. I have this Rainbow Bright style reference. This is a graphic design. You could do something like that. We've got some clay ones. This one's really fun, like
Ooh.
claymation. I've been testing out different ones. So let's try, should we do clay?
Let's try clay. Let's
Yeah.
see what.
Okay. So I'm going to click this. So now I've added my style reference. So it's going to take that and take that into account. And so instead of a cartoon style, I'm going to say in a clay style. Let's see what we get. So I could go back and forth and add different styles. I can also add composition. So style is going to give us like, if it's painterly, if it's photorealistic, it'll give you colors and palette. Here we go. These are so fun. Uh,
Oh, look at that. I love how they pop out too.
yes, so this gives us a clay three-dimensional
That
aspect.
is so fun.
Really, really fun. So let's try one more style. I've been testing these out. We could also, this is going to be really cute. Let's go with this one. This is that was clay. This one is actually when I tested out, this is needle felt. So I'm going to say in the needle felt. I don't know if you guys have ever seen needle felting like little like almost like stuffed animals. Um, I did that before. It's a really fun. So I'm going to say needle felting style, generate.
So, Rebecca, I think when you press the style button, we don't see the little pop out that comes. So,
Oh,
could you describe to us what it
yeah,
looks like? And also,
absolutely.
this has been a really great example because the way that we're describing Anne is like typically what we would think, right? So, I love Rebecca that you're talking us through how we can refine it and make revisions. And even if we start off just like a simple description and then we'll see what's generated and then go back and see what we want
Right.
to adjust, that's really great because, and I know that we've also talked about identity words versus descriptive words, and that the descriptive language is going to help us get a little bit closer to what we're looking for as well.
It is. And this is an iterative process. So it's a great thing to bring your students into. So often, at least, I felt like with my students when they first started working with me, they were one and done. They were
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
okay, I'm done. What do I do now? And so this is like, no, you're going to work until you get something that you're happy with. That's actually how the world works. That's how business works.
Yes.
It's you're never one and done. There's
You're
like,
never one and
done.
done. It's a great
No.
habit to instill the just iterating, right? That we can work in drafts. It's okay. It's good. And it's such a journey to be able to see where we ended from where we started as well.
It is. And just and playing around with this. And so when my students would struggle with iterating in this way, what I would have them do, like so that like now a photographic one went in. I think this one's actually really great. And so what I would be like, what I would tell them to do is like, this is great. I'm not sure if we love this. So all I would do here is I'm gonna go three little dots. I'm gonna duplicate this, and then I'm gonna go into the next one. So I've saved that. I've saved that version. I don't want to lose it, but I want to explore a little bit more. So I would tell my students, like, I need you to do 3 or 4 explorations. And then that's what they were turning in.
Oh,
That
nice.
forces them to do that iterative work because, again, so often, like, we've trained them since they were little. Like, it's a checklist world and in education often, and it's like getting things done. So in this case, that meets that need for them to be like, did I fulfill this goal? But it forces them into that iterative process. So now we've done 2. So we'll
Yep.
go back into generate image. So I haven't lost that work because sometimes like you'll tinker, 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 and then you'll end up with something like, oh, I like the 3 versions, and you'll never get it back again.
Hmm.
So duplicating, switching out. So actually, so I will explain now what I'm seeing. So I see the style, I'm clicking X, I'm going to do plus. What I see
Hmm.
is basically like the little file, excuse me, the little file a pop-up that jumps up on your screen.
Yep.
And this is open up to folders into my desktop. So through my desktop, I'm just choosing different things that I have. So I have some different style references. Like I have this one that's about paper. So I might throw that one in there. I've got needle felting. I'll throw a paper one in. So this is like cut paper. So this is some things I generated in Firefly. So I'm going to say a cut paper style. Oh, excuse
Oh,
me.
these are such
Yep.
great
So I'm going to
ideas.
now generate this and see what I like.
Also teaching students just a variety of style and visual effects that you can create and generate using that descriptive language as well. And I like that you call them explorations, the different
Yes.
versions, the different explorations. And Michael Clear co-signed on he said duplicating is such an important step so you can see more and not losing what you did in the past. Absolutely, Michael.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I had to learn when I was working with my students. I think this one, trying to think what this has. This has a shape on this. So this is my what I think there's something over this. That what is that? That was oh, they've added a tent. Got it. So if I go back in here, I'm gonna close this out. I'm gonna go to my layers and I'm actually looking for, I've got a shadow. I'm looking for this. And what I want to do is I want to change the words on this. So I'm going to go to effects because this has a shape on it. and I'm going to change the color because I think I've got cutout text. Let's do the shape fill to be like, I'm going to use a color picker. I'm going to make it this pink color. So now it kind of pops
Ooh,
off more and I can see it.
look at you,
So
Anne.
yes, so we can then describe Anne in a moment. So this is a paper one. So what's fun about this is I can make multiple versions of this. So I'd always give my students like, I want 10.
Mhm.
Research actually shows your first 7 ideas are totally unoriginal. But kids would be like, but I like the first one. You're like, I don't care. I want you to explore 10. Because actually what starts to happen is they switch their thinking to be, am I done with this? Did I finish this? To be like, which one is better? Which one is
Ah,
the most impactful? Which one is the most interesting? And so by making them have many, then instead you're not having them turn something in to go, is this an A? Is this good enough? You say turn in the one that's the strongest.
oh,
Which one
love
has,
it.
and that really switches what they're thinking, but they won't have a strongest if they only have one.
They're training themselves to be analysts.
Exactly.
They're going from just kind of making a surface level submission to actually critically thinking about the work that they're creating. That's brilliant.
Exactly. And it's all just through something as simple as this. So I can throw like, I can make this black. I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe make this, let's see if I go into like the red palette. I like this pink. It's actually quite fun. So I want to see her eye. So I like the needle felting one the most. We've got two. What do you prefer?
I the needle felting one is popping out to me just because I haven't seen it like that before. So I really love that. The paper one is beautiful. And I think I want to explore the needle felting just because it's so unique to me right now.
Yeah, it feels so three-dimensional, like you feel like it's like you can touch it. It just has a
Hmm.
really strong sensory experience to it, just visually. So I just double clicked on this. I don't like that her nose is not centered. So I'm gonna grab this, center this. I can just, so you have these like little handlebars here. So I'm just gonna drag this over to here, center her nose. And then let's, Anne can describe herself, but I think that actually everyone in the chat should give out words because
Everyone in the
they're
chat could describe
well
Ed
known.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so we know all the brilliant things about Anne. So I'm definitely kind, friend, funny, but I'm going to select all of this. Let's give some words for Anne, and then we can play around with the font, and we can then jump into another project.
Yeah, let's give some words for Anne in here. I'm going to add light.
Like this.
Yep.
I'm going to add brilliant. Let's see if I can spell brilliant correctly now that I'm
Pressure's on.
correct. There are two L's in brilliant, right?
Two
And
L's
you'll
in
tell me if
brilliant.
it's wrong.
Yes.
Light, brilliant.
We've got dedicated, loving, awesome.
Let's see,
Thanks,
dedicated,
Elizabeth.
loving, awesome.
Jennifer Ives has given us warm. Hey, Jennifer. Whoop, whoop, Virginia Beach representing.
Warm. We need a few more to fill this up.
We need a couple more. We've got enthusiastic from Michael. Thank you. We've got funny, adventurous, Elizabeth giving us all the descriptions, all the
I
loves.
missed one. Enthusiastic, what?
Funny, adventurous. We've also got approachable. Another one from Jennifer. Approachable. I love that. So approachable, Anne.
How do you tell
Encouraging
me
from
spelled
Kristen
adventurous?
Brooks. Kristen Brooks says encouraging. Hey, Kristen.
How do you spell adventurous?
Adventurous. Thanks, Elizabeth, for writing it out
Yeah,
that I could
that's we
cheat and
need that.
look.
That's the you can't type live in front of people and
You
spell
cannot. It
it.
goes out the window. It's a thing. Kristen also said cheerleader. Such a cheerleader.
So this is such a fun back to school, end of school. So I'm just going to grab this and make this a little bit lower so it crosses everything out. I can go back and move my image. I love this because we don't like very rarely do we have a picture of ourselves that we just love. And so this is such a great way to build something. Now, I just did this work and let me make sure I grab and I'm going to grab the text. I'm going to move it over so it's to the side so it covers the whole thing. I'm really happy with this. Of course, I can go back in and hit that duplicate and be like, okay, like we want to play around with this again. And I like lost my formatting this, but like maybe we want to play around with the color. So I can go into my text, my effects, click on the color. Maybe I'm going to try it with a blue. Maybe I'm going to try I'll use a color picker with a green on her eyes. And So, oh, if that's too dark. So I can go around and play around. I can click more colors into something and maybe like what
Oh, the
her
color
favorite color
picker.
would be. I can pick purple. It's nicer when it's in the combination of things, but this allows you to kind of to go back in. Even if you're just doing variations like this, um, then you can say like for students, like which one's more legible?
Mm.
Which one is it, so again, then you get feedback from other students. Which one really feels like Anne? Is it the green? Is
Yeah.
it the pink? And so again, this is just a couple minutes of variations. Typically, we give kids a project and they work and work and work on it for days and hours, and then they come to us and like, is it good? Is it
One.
an A?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
instead of giving them the time to iterate and build those skills, and honestly, it's not the technical skills, it's that the cognitive thinking and
Yes.
complex like the self-assessment and reflection that is so key. And this is just a fun, engaging and community building activity to do that kind of deeper work with.
Absolutely, Rebecca. Thank you for taking us through that. I think you've given us all some extra tips that maybe we didn't even consider with this particular template and just elevating it, but elevating it instructionally and really emboldening our students, empowering our students to think critically about the work that they're doing. Something that when I'm working with students, I like to ask them, or to just have them think, every time you're creating a visual, you're communicating a message. And
Mm,
so, what is the message that you want your audience to get from your visual? And use that to also inform the decisions that you're making, for color and tone and shapes and fonts, right? So if we're doing something that's more melancholy, we might not be using neon colors, but we might need, a lot of contrast just to make it more legible and to pop. So things like that. So thank you for those considerations, Rebecca. And I love just that they can create those versions and really take ownership of their work. So we are going to be transitioning to another template. So when we go back into our home page, Rebecca, as we are discovering more instructional features and activities that we can engage with the students, you also talked with me about the standards aligned activities that teachers can tap into. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
yeah, absolutely. Max on our team and Christina on and actually, I should say, like a whole slew of educators created our standards aligned activities. And so these don't have the visual, like the video instructions with them. We're really curious if that's necessary, but they are all aligned to standards and the best things that someone would be able to do in a certain subject. So we're actually here in the educator resource section right now. It's over here. And again, Express is continuously evolving, but you'll always be able to find this kind of content in here. So at the top asks what you want to teach. We have all subjects right now. In a few short weeks, this is actually going to be also divided by grade bands. So you'll find things that are developmentally appropriate for your upper elementary students, your middle school students, your high school students. And so there's more than almost 100 different activities that we developed. So you see our guided activities at the top. If I go up here and say something like language arts, you'll see that this is all going to shift. Then you'll also see that this will shift and adjust as we get new content and for the different grade levels. So this is going to evolve. It's going to actually look really beautiful and colorful. We're really excited about it. And so then here I have my standards aligned classrooms activities. So if I click on one of these, a little modal pops up and it tells me the standards. I know we all have these memorized, CCS, ELA, dot literacy, and it's, you can go back and Google what they are. We give you a short description of what it is. And then we also give you the ISTE standard that we've aligned to as well. Again, we've created this with educators, we've tested this with students. And so this has created one pager for a text. It has and we've built these to have instructions within them. So that way there is a light a lift for educators as possible to really get the students thinking. So I'll grab another one. Like this one's a really fun one. It's a book trailer. So again, the students, it
Ooh.
starts them off. You can see it gives you a preview of what it is. It tells you the standard that it's aligned to. And it's actually oftentimes aligned to more than one standards, but that's how much space we actually had to share. So you'll recognize that this aligns to a lot of different things. What's really great about these and the guided activities, we also have a quick assign button, which I can share about later, that will just give you an assignment directly into your classes. So you can share it with your students and give them a link. Or you can always go in and customize these. So you might want to actually change a few things about them. So one of my favorite ones is this create a visual poem. And so students who can a poem that they're learning about or a poem that they write themselves, they can add visuals to it. And really make those connections. And so this is analyze the structure of a text, including how the sentences, paragraphs relate to each other. So that's,
Love that.
that's ELA. So for each activity, for each subject, we have 8 activities. Science are some really fun ones because I taught science and it's such a visual field. And so we have diagram a process to actually set the stage for your students to have what they need to bring elements in to diagram a process that they're learning about. It could be the water cycle. It could be like, like a cellular process. There's a lot of different things that they can diagram and they have the elements that they need or science for a superhero. This is, actually like you're going to use generative AI to create a superhero based on a physics concept. So really
Ooh.
fun extension activities. We're going to do one of my favorite ones though. This is actually in social studies, which I think can go anywhere. We have a lot of really great ones here. We have like the newspaper from history, or this is a great one. Everyone has to do this, like infographic about a place. I know that we learn all about our states or countries. And this is a great way to share that information in a really simple and intuitive infographic. Of course, you can customize that and then assign it to your students as you wish. But we're going to jump
Oh,
into
isn't
design.
that for back to school, everybody? That's a great community builder at the beginning of the year, but also so informative.
It is. And like or a place that you want to go. Everyone has a
Mhm.
dream place. So we're going to go ahead and just click customize template. That's going to let us jump right in. You can also favorite these and find them later or just grab the link. So I'm going to customize the template. And this is what your students will see. So it's going to open up. And so this is already set. So we like to create a lot of these that are already exemplars that like, well, I'm not going to make a memorial for World War One. I'm decided that I'm going to make a memorial for something in my community, or I might make a memorial for a character in a book. I might make or a monument, right? So we're just
Mm.
setting the stage for your own creativity for yourselves and for your students. So let's think about something that's we can create for. And I know we chatted earlier, Wezi, and that you're really
Yes.
inspired by something happening in your community.
Yes. So, as a lot of you know, I recently moved to New York City, and so something really inspiring in my community was that after-school ballet programs have been popping up, and they were actually established by Misty Copeland. So she has a community program, and it's so the memorial that I would like to create is for the after-school ballet program called Be Bold. It stands for Ballet Explorations. Ballet offers leadership development, and it's established by the Misty Copeland Foundation in 13 communities in New York City. And what other information, like just like short little information, can we put on there, Rebecca? Because there's a lot there that it's designed to help underserved communities and children have exposure to the leadership and training that they can get through ballet.
Amazing. So we can
Yeah.
add a copy in here. So like I created a memorial or I've made a monument. And so that's your students can then of course substitute these things out. And what's great about this, I'll zoom in, is like the symbols you've used. So we can think about which symbols. And of course, this brings us into from like, concrete and well, and maybe your memorial is made out of concrete, but from concrete thinking into more abstract thinking. How might we bring symbols in? Of course, if that's too complex for your learners, you can always just like take that out. And then what do you hope that this memorial will do?
Mm.
And where do you think it should go? So there's a lot of
Yep.
different things. And then we also have like what the prompt was that got you there. So let's play around with the
Ooh.
image. And so it's Misty Copeland, and
Hmm.
she is a ballerina, very famous.
She's a famous ballerina,
And
yes.
it's to help it's to help young people achieve their goals, or
Yes.
what's the exact language?
Achieve their goals, develop leadership skills, and
So
in particular teamwork, and also to counter stereotypes like that dance is for everybody.
mhm. And I remember when you talked earlier, you said that it's about like helping them find like level ground.
Yes.
And I love
Yes.
that idea. And we played around before as like the idea about like level ground. It's like this could be something that you find in New York, like on a staircase, like
Mm-hmm.
bringing them. So there's so many different kinds of symbols and things we can think about. So like how it might interact because we're never going to make this memorial today, and
Right.
students don't. Or no one's going to give students bronze sculptures to do something. We don't like we don't have the materials, but they can
Unfortunately
with
not.
with Gen AI. So let's start this off. I'm just going to delete this entire thing and we're going to write a really simple prompt. And so it reminds me to use colors, locations, objects. So I'm going to say a bronze ballerina. Um, uh, like holding children's hands.
Yeah.
So he's helping them along
Helping them along, helping along the
on
next
a
generation.
staircase. Okay, that does my, so I like to start off with less. Like, let's
Hmm.
see what the AI does and where do I need to go in with more.
Hmm.
That's how I like to do it. I'm gonna leave this, the content type as a photo. I want it to be photorealistic if you want it to be something else, but I like the idea that it really feels like it's something. Oh, I should maybe add, let's like in a city.
Oh,
Because
yes.
and this is actually I'm intentionally not saying New York City, even though that's where we'd want it to be, because I'm worried that the AI might like pull something random in from New York.
Right. Right.
That's not necessary because I really want to focus on things. So just city should be enough. We can always add like some more specifics later. I'm going to click generate. This is the fun part. There are immediate feedback. And so of course, this is like the like looking at a what like the watched pot never boils.
Right.
Uh, we get okay, great. So what happened? It's given me like a woman in a dress that's bronze color. So I need to go back in, and this one actually, yeah. So here, and why these kids are flying, I'm not quite sure. So I would go back in a bronze, like I might say instead, a ballerina made of bronze, holding real, let's see if that does it, real children's hands. Okay, let's see if that does it. And I get something better now. And that's where it's like, because I don't want a bronze outfit. I want
Hmm.
something made of bronze. I like the idea. We
Yeah.
could also make it out of stone. We could play around with different versions of this, but let's say we get, okay, that's much more,
There we go.
right?
Yes.
That's much closer to what I'm thinking. Of course, here we've got like bronze in the top, legs in the bottom. This is, this is AI. This one's actually quite nice, although these kids are kind of oddly coming out of the stairs. This is nice too. The image I see like a little bit below, but there we've got to like looking up at the staircase. I actually don't like this. It feels like they've got a long way to go.
They've got a long way to go.
It's a
That's
long
the message. Yes, it is.
right. I think that that's not where we should position this. So that's great. I'm going to go back in and say at the top of a staircase.
And I like how, just your suggestion with starting with less, it also helps you get more clarity on what you don't want in the image and what you do want and what the image is communicating. And then you can continue to refine your language for more language precision. Like that's a great skill to just continue develop your language precision.
Exactly. I love that too. This is so I'm playing around here. So we've turned back into like kind of a human again. Here we've got something. This is interesting how the two things blend. So every day you get something a little bit different and we can keep refining. I want to share the one that we played with just a little bit ago.
Mhm.
And I'm going to jump over. So we had started a project. So you'll go into your stuff whenever you created this. I think Wezi and I spent maybe 2 or 3 minutes on
Yeah,
this.
it wasn't long.
Um, yeah, and this was and so you can see we haven't actually finished the text, but this is the image we got. And what was special about this, like the couple of minutes that we worked on this, was that we got her to the top of the stairs, and like it feels like there's just one more step to go. If it feels very aspirational,
Hmm.
and I had originally imagined that that the kids were in bronze as well, and then the AI gave us human kids, like
Hmm.
live kids, and you and I were both like, oh.
Yeah.
She could be like the kids can go up and then like that's a photo opportunity. It's a moment to engage. It's
Yes.
actually like if we just had the ballerina and then like any kid could go hold her hand.
Hmm.
That's a very
Yeah.
different communication than she's helped these two kids, but she's helping every student.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So we wouldn't okay, I wouldn't have come up with that on my own. I was like I had and so what I like about this is when we think about this as a partnership and we're all we're doing is making students critical thinking skills and
Mhm.
ability to generate and create their ideas faster
Yeah.
and easier. And that doesn't mean that like they don't have to still develop skills, but this is so much closer and has been a different kind of partner than if I had to color this in by hand.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and just and like, the way that we are having more conversations around the meaning behind the visual and the memorial, like that is so powerful as co just communicators and collaborators to think, oh, look at this image and what is it conveying? Like those are really powerful questions and topic starters for students as well.
yeah, I agree. And I can always just make this like, maybe this is something quick. I want to take away this level of complexity. I can always do that. And just, make this as simple as I want it to be. And then I can go then and assign this to my students. I give it an assignment title. I can, like create a new memorial for like our community, and then it's recognized in our community or for someone in our school. We have total amazing heroes within our school. Can you imagine if students had to decide who they were going to,
Oh my
which
gosh.
educator or administrator or,
Yeah,
like all the entire support staff within a school, everyone would get a memorial. That would just be, and then you choose a class, like whatever class that you've worked in, and you can create a link and then share through your LMS. You can also go in, of course, and just click share, and then you can make this a remixable template, really simple as well, and you can invite folks to it. So I love this one, and all of these are kind of designed to get your students thinking and get yourself thinking, and how you might
absolutely.
like really engage your learners. So this is a really fun one.
Yeah, and Rachel has also shared in the chat that it'll be such a gorgeous statue in real life as well. Yes, this that like life imitating art in this sense would be really beautiful. And shout out to Tanya Gonzalez, who's moving to middle school next school year, so she's excited to explore the things. Thanks for sharing that, Tanya. So, Rebecca, if teachers are trying to assign these projects to students, could you walk us just through the classroom experience and how that can be done?
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone starts off with a classroom that's named after yourself. I've had this account longer than they did that, so I don't have that. But if you jump into classrooms, what you can do is you can really simply and easily create a class. So you've seen a bunch of different classes that I've already created. I'm just going to go click create class. I'll give it a name. So this might be like my like ELA, fifth, sixth grade, whatever that might be. And then I can choose whatever subject it is. I can, of course, just choose, if I say others, if it does not find it's like English, this helps you kind of differentiate. I can then, of course, choose what grade level, because I might be teaching multiple grade levels. This is for myself. And then the period. I've already said this is like this, let's say this is fifth period. Then I can also, right now I can, this is new. I can manage my co-teachers. I can bring in co-teachers. So like all of the support staff that might be around my students, I might have my paraprofessionals who I need inside of this, or my special education teachers, or a student teacher, or just if I'm a library media specialist, the student's classroom teacher. So everyone can go in, and what this does, so I'm going to go ahead and click this and just say save. This then creates a unique class for me that I can give assignments to my students. I can then have them really easily join the class by clicking like the class invite link. They can go to newexpress.com. I can put that in our LMS and then give them this, or I can actually just, I can hold a QR code if they want to like scan that. I can make this full screen. And when I worked with my students and we were ever sharing anything like this, I would just put the link in and put the code on, and they would type it in. I'd go, make sure everyone had logged into it. That's something they only have to do once. It makes it quite simple. So once I have my students in here, I can copy the invite link, and I can also create assignments. So I can go here to add students if I want to bring in a roster. So I'm going to go ahead and create an assignment, and I can start from here. So I can write an assignment title, instructions, and do a variety of things. I can even turn on the class gallery, which allows us to see everyone's work once they've turned it in, and students can give feedback, and we have a space to look at everybody's work, which is so powerful. I can see what the student view is in it, but I often don't start from scratch if I'm thinking through this, so I'm just not going to save this. I think that's actually where my team comes in as a partner and saving teachers time. And so if we go back to educator resources, I just created that new class. So let's pick one that we want to assign. So maybe we want to do that same thing that we did. So that was actually, oh, we've got voices of the past. Let's assign that one.
Oh,
So
yes.
this is a really fun one. This is another one of our social studies one. Explore and visualize multiple perspectives on a historical event or moment. So your students can go in and bring different quotes in of a moment in time. So I can go to my quick assign. And what that does is it brings me directly into the editor. So if I want to make any edits to this, because maybe I want to not just say of a historical event, I want it to be a specific one and I want to add that
Mhm.
in. I can edit the things. So we have enter a quote here that shows a perspective of one, enter a second quote. So we're asking for 3 quotes. And then what do the perspectives help you understand? And then there's an opportunity to add an image or generate an image. And so I'm going to choose my class. Now we just created this, ELA 6th grade. I'm going to turn on class gallery that allows students to see each other's turned in work once it's done. And then I can click more options. So maybe I want to make sure I've got my title here. So I'm just going to say history assignment from current reading. And I could write in what my instructions are. I can add my due date so that my students know when I expect it to be done. And then I've got my class gallery. I can see what the students see. So they see instructions none, so I can go back and add those in. And then I'll just click, I'll click assign. So when they get to this page, they see start assignment. So I'm going to click assign. And so all my students who are in that class would get that assignment when they go to classrooms. Now it's thinking for a moment, it's
Perfect.
creating my assignment. And so you can see your assignment is live in Express. The easiest way for me is to grab this assignment link and put it into my LMS and share it with my students. So my students instead can go into Google Classrooms or whatever LMS we're using, and then they can just paste that assignment link in. I can even jump to Google Classroom or Teams directly from here. So that's now I've got this. And so what you'll see is in your students will start to populate in here and you'll be able to view the gallery. So once they turn their work in, you'll be able to see all the different things that have been turned in from your students.
Beautiful. So, making it really simple to go in and you open your assignment right from within the editor, connecting to the classroom experience, assigning it to students, and having them have the full experience. And I love that you also mentioned if teachers just want to go in and even customize those prompts. We also have that fun new feature of the front-facing camera in there. So if you want to, record yourself giving those directions in a video for the students, and then they make their own version or they duplicate it and they start to iterate on their designs. That's an option that you have when customizing the template. So we can actually go into Q&A. We've got about 5 minutes remaining of our time today. This was so rich. Thank you, Rebecca. We don't, it's easy to take for granted the amount of thinking, collaboration, research that goes behind every single detail in every single activity available in Adobe Express. And so as educators, we should just feel comforted knowing that educators are designing this experience and just making your needs at the center of the decisions around what the activities can look like and the experiences that students can have. Just very intentional about supporting their growth and development in design, in thinking, and in the content as well. So Michael says that's such a great session. Thank you, Rebecca, for that. Let us know in the chat if you've got any questions. We've got a couple minutes for Q&A. I don't see any questions yet. So in the meantime, I'm just going to let you know what's upcoming. Please feel free to join our ACE community on Facebook. We do have an ACE community, a large growing ACE community on Facebook. And I don't know if you're still there, but if you are, Anne helps to moderate that group. It's a lot of fun. Please join. And you can also go to adobe.ly/ACE sign up if you are not yet part of the Adobe Creative Educator Leadership community and you are an educator and you have the passion for inspiring and empowering the next generation of lifelong creators. We would love to have you as part of this growing community of educators who are just excited to connect and to learn and grow from each other. And that's adobe.ly/sign ACE sign up, all lowercase. Again, share with us on social. Hashtag Adobe EDU Creative. We would love to connect with you on all the social channels so you can just let us know how you're doing, how you're getting along. And congratulations, everybody, for another school year in your belt. We're going into the summer season. I really hope that you all are getting the R&R that you deserve. So thank you so, so much for all of the incredible work that you're doing, students. It's not easy. It's not easy to be multitasking with all of the subjects and all of the learning that you're doing. And so thank you for also joining us in that. We do have ISTE conference coming up. You can find our team at ISTE conference if you are going there in San Antonio this year. We will be there. We would love to see you all there. So thank you again. Thank you for all the love in the chat as well. If you would like to tune in again to Adobe Live, please do so at adobe.ly/Adobe Live edu. That is all lowercase as well. Now, next week, Thursday on June 19th, you can tune in to join Martha and Shell as they share about all the exciting things happening at ISTE. And also, not if you're not going to ISTE, we also have programming for you, which is hashtag not at ISTE. So you can tune into us virtually from wherever you are as well. That is next week, June 19th at 1 PT. That will be our Adobe Live session focused around all of the learning that you can get at ISTE. Rebecca, what tips and or tips or tricks would you like to leave us with as teachers are going into the summer and just thinking about what's next? What do you feel like we can, just kind of fuel them with as they're going in?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just beg teachers to, I know it feels like you must get everything done. Please take time off just to rest and just be present with your families and yourselves. And so you've had a really big year. These I feel like they get bigger every year. Some big tip is just take a deep breath, have some time off, and know that like things will keep evolving and things will keep changing and you'll just keep getting better every year. So if like technology feels strange, don't worry about it. Everything will turn up because your kids really just need you to show up and be there for them. So I would say this summer, please take some time off, create some things just for fun, find that joy again, and don't worry too much about planning everything for the next year. I spent a lot of summers that I will never get back again, worried about that. And then the year goes by, well, no matter what, you're all brilliant. Everything's going to, well, it just, how much can you also give back to yourself at this time of year, I would say.
I love that. Create for joy. Create for wellness.
And there's a lot of fun things out there to love up with and to have some fun. So spend time with yourselves and your families and enjoy it this summer. And hopefully we see you at ISTE. We'll be there. We have a lot of cool things happening in our booth. And all the names that were said today, I can't see the chat. So really excited to see everyone in person at ISTE in a few weeks.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. That is it from us today. Hope you enjoyed the session. I certainly did. I always learn so much from you, Rebecca. Thank you so, so much. And we do have some shout outs in the chat from Elizabeth. Much appreciated. And she said, have an amazing and healthy summer as well. Take care, everybody. See you soon.